Hi, everyone, and welcome back to SGDA's closing ceremony for day two of the 2024 summit. I'm Jason again, the SGDA president, and I'll let Anuj and Meghna introduce themselves.
Hey there, folks. I'm Anuj, SGDA's webmaster.
Hello, I'm Agna. I am SGDA's marketing lead.
Yeah, and we'll just get right into it for the closing ceremony. So again, I'd like to thank everyone, all of our speakers and panelists this year for dedicating time to the SGA Summit. This year was a really busy year for all of the SGA officers in terms of recruiting, and so we're running a small crew. So we really appreciate the quick turnaround for all of the developers in terms of materials and understanding when mistakes were being made. Um, we also want to take this time to acknowledge what is currently happening in the industry, as we've sort of seen throughout this day and yesterday. In a record year of layoffs, we understand that it's a super tough time in the industry right now, and we're really grateful for the support from speakers, developers, and students alike. Um, yeah, and we just want to make sure that if you're doing okay, we just want to make sure that you're doing okay at this moment. Um, the SGA Showcase, the Student Game Showcase mini grant, is awarded to the games that showed exemplary creativity, direction, design, programming, and all the other aspects that make up a game. And so, for us, the intent of this award is to be used to further develop the game and potentially support the eventual full release of said game to a paid platform, and to possibly use it to support further promotion of the game in the game space. So whether that be Discord, be Facebook, be Instagram, sort of allow these games to be able to sort of be the fullest game that it can be. This year, I think, due to the number of excellent games that we received for the Student Game Showcase in terms of submissions, we decided to award two games with with the mini grant. Each of these games will receive a $100 mini grant. They can use it for whatever aspect in regards to either usually Steam in terms of getting a listing on Steam for release, or other aspects like marketing and whatnot. We'll make sure to contact the winners with the details on how they'll receive the monetary grant after the summit, and we'll try to do it as soon as we can. Again, we'd like to thank everyone for making the donations. Everything that goes in terms of the donations to SGDA will always go to student developers and trying to help student developers break into the industry. You guys helped to fund these mini grants to allow these student developers to reach the next level. We would again still like to note that it takes a while for the donations to settle in our accounts, so we'll try to process those as quickly as we can and send those out as soon as possible. We'll also make sure to send emails to the developers when it's ready. So student developers, I would probably keep your eyes out for an email regarding the mini grants in about a week or two-ish. Depends. Sometimes the processing can be a little weird. And in this case, we'll be shouting out in terms of the student developers of each project. We would like to note that there are likely names that we have left out. This is due to the nature, obviously, with making sure that everyone is being credited properly, but we want to just sort of give a disclaimer at this moment. And again, we'd like to ask for forgiveness if we mispronounce anybody's name. In that case, I'll hand it off to Anuj to sort of announce our first mini grant winner.
Sounds good. And the first grant goes to, drumroll please, the remake of the end. Wait. There we go.
Yeah.
The first grant goes to the remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time, aka probably the longest game we've ever had in terms of title. We're going to call it remake going forward, just to just keep things simple. Developed, or rather remade, by Lucas Emmanuel, Jacob Dominic, Kyle Chuang, and Michael Din. Remake is a unique experience filled with interesting puzzles utilizing an in-game manual, live-action segments, and amazing 3D pixel art. Remake's concept allows the developers to explore a narrative beyond the scope of being in-game. Beyond the scope of just the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that not only is Remake a love letter to classic 90s RPGs, but a game determined to stand out with the unique concept of a game, within a documentary, within a game. We hope that this grant will be helped to use with finishing development of the game, as well as promoting it beyond the SGDA to the world itself, because I think the world really would benefit from seeing it. We also like to note that the RPG is totally real, and the developers are remaking it. It's behind my head again, right here. It is available to wishlist on Steam. The link is currently on the SGDA website, and we will be dropping it in chat and in the description of the video. Congratulations to the team.
Yay. Wait, let me do the golf clap.
Yes.
Yay. All right. So our second mini grant. Do you want to do the noise, Anush?
Yes, I will do the drum roll.
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, drum. There we go.
So the second mini grant is going to Zook's Delivery. So Zook's Delivery is developed by Tiffany Tran, Vienne Londono, Michael Rivera, Brianna R. Salazar, Cecilia Spriester, Ku Tran, and Brooke Olson. Zook's Delivery is a charming, funny, and beautifully drawn game. From the first 5 minutes of gameplay, Zook's Delivery was incredibly well established with plenty of props to interact with, and funny quests featuring interdimensional cats and goofy yet charming characters. And all of these aspects show the time and dedication that the developers took to building the world of Zook. And we hope this mini grant is used to continue development and potentially to have it be put on Steam. And hopefully we will finally see vegans and carnivores get along. Because for some reason they're beefing so much.
Beefing.
Yes. Yeah. So Zook's Delivery is currently available to play on itch.io. We will drop the link in chat, as Anuj mentioned, as well as it's already linked on our website, and as well as linked on our itch.io page. And we'd also like to highlight some other games that are honorable mentions for the grant, because some of them were not unable to be shown on stream due to time differences or just not being available and such. But the first one was shown on stream. So honorable mention goes to Soul of the Forest from Wolverine Soft Studios at University of Michigan. Some of the judges' notes on Soul of the Forest is that it's incredibly well executed with amazing art, story, gameplay mechanics, and amazing characters like the Druid, which personally one of my favorite character designs, as well as our personal favorite character, the cool horse. Soul of the Force is available to play on Steam for free, so please go check it out. Really cool game. Our second honorable mention is Conjure Chaos from VGDC at UCI, a returning studio and one of SGDA's core schools. So Conjure Chaos has incredibly addicting gameplay and is oozing with style. It's a hilarious and head-pounding experience, literally, because it takes place in rave prison, and we love breaking out of rave prison. So Conjure Chaos is available on itch.io and is also linked on our website. And then finally, we have Infinium from King's College London, and this is, I believe, is our third international game. And we did want to point out with Infinium, as they probably were not able to make it on stream because they're in London. Infinium is a throwback to old school art styles with a strategy RPG twist, and it's utilizing a dystopian setting and very cool mechanics to set itself apart. Infinium is on itch.io and is also linked on our website.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you to Meghna for reading out the honorable mentions as well. Speaking as somebody who's been working on the judging team for mini grants for 3 years at this point, it is never easy to pick just 1 or 2 games to give these mini grants to. All the games that were presented, all the games on our website are really fun. We want to see them further developed. We want to see them go beyond just the scope of where they are right now. We hope that they send the creators to great studios, great working opportunities. If your team makes significant updates, fully release your game, or even make a new one, like a sequel, please submit it to the next Summit Showcase or send it into the Discord. We would love to see it. We'd love to be able to play it. And we're always on the lookout for great games.
For sure. Yeah, no. Every game that we review for the Student Game Showcase is always a pleasure to sort of review because we can see the talent and all the sort of creative efforts that had to go into every single game. And so we definitely appreciate it if if you have a game and you're willing to submit it and you're still a student, regardless of being undergrad or a graduate student, we're always open to having that game be submitted within the Student Game Showcase. Without further ado, I think I'd like to thank all the officers for SGDA. I'd like to thank Anuj and Megna here. Anuj is our webmaster, and he obviously does a lot more than just being our webmaster. Uh, so we definitely like to thank Anuj. We'd definitely also like to thank Megna. Megna is currently doing, I think, an internship with Riot, so she's working very hard to balance both work and SGDA, and so we definitely appreciate that she helps carves out some time from her busy schedule to help us with the summit this year and with all of our other marketing efforts all throughout the year. Some other offices that I'd like to thank that aren't able to make it to our closing ceremony is Nicolette, our events lead, who also helped present for the narrative design fireside chat. Jules, who you've also seen throughout the summit, he's one of our events officers. Emmanuel, who has helped present for parts of the Student Game Showcase, he's one of our public relations officer. We definitely also like to thank Eric, who is one of our public relations officers that was able to help secure some of our speakers and panelists today, and Mark as well as one of our events officers who helped make this summit and other events possible within SGDA. And again, I'd like to thank everybody for attending the summit. I'd like to thank you because we definitely appreciate that you're interested in making sure that student games and sort of game development in general sort of thrives, even when as our current economic statuses seem to be a little murky at the moment. So thank you for coming and making time out of your day to watch everyone succeed. I'd like to possibly open out this sort of discussion now to what our thoughts generally were about the summit in terms of how we felt like it went and sort of any lingering thoughts that we might have.
Definitely. Magna, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. So this is a general consensus among the officers that this is probably one of the smoothest summits that we've had in a while. Definitely less chaotic than the previous ones that I've been part of. This is my third summit this year, and while I wasn't as involved in like presenting for the summit itself, I think that generally it went a lot smoothly, and that's thanks to all the speakers for being really understanding when stuff was happening and we were late on stuff, and then also taking the time to submit their materials really quickly in turnarounds. And I think I also like to give a special shout out to, if you guys don't already know, I'm currently a student at the Entertainment Technology Center at Carnegie Mellon. And I believe at least like 25% of the speakers are alumni from that school. And I just basically cold called them and was like, do you guys want to come on to the summit? And they were really helpful. Even if they weren't able to come on the summit, they're always like, you might see them again later in future events or possibly a future summit, as they had to get as they were open to doing other events with SGDA. So thank you to them. They were a really big help, especially for our production and art panels.
Definitely. I would like to just second that and just thank all the speakers, all the students who came in to showcase their games and art. The summit is not possible without all of y'all. And one other person I'd like to thank is Jason, our president. Jason has been on board as president for longer than I think that I've been an officer, and summits have always been. He does a lot of work in terms of the back end, making sure that we don't get any technical difficulties. The only technical difficulties that happened were because my internet sometimes went down, and that was like I don't think those were reflected in the actual events. So Jason does an absolutely killer job with maintaining the summit, maintaining SGDA, and just keeping us on track. So I'd like to give many thanks to him. And yeah, I thank you guys for coming by and watching us in whichever form, be this current stream, the VODs, a blip, or the one of the trailers for somebody's Steam page, wherever you find us. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think, yeah. Yes.
Sorry, can I say something else real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, also quick thank you to our newer officers this year, Emmanuel and Jules. This is their first summit, and being a first timer in the summit is a bit hard. So I really appreciate them kind of like catching on to everything that was going on, being able to help when we were running into figuring out who was going to help moderate and host. Really appreciate that. Yay. And thank you to Jason too for basically running the entire stream.
Yeah, I think I'd like to reiterate again, sort of, uh, maybe repeating myself a little bit too much, but I think without the officers, the summit wouldn't be possible, and so I'd like to thank again Magna and Anuj here, who are core parts of the summit and core part of the SGA, just generally speaking. All of our new officers, all the officers who weren't able to make it, everyone who is part of our network at SGDA, you are all why SGDA succeeds, and so I'd like to thank everyone again. But yeah, I think I'll go into some logistics here in terms of what you can expect sort of after the summit here. We want to note that the VODs will be available on YouTube after we make some quick edits. Obviously due to some music sort of rights and whatnot, we want to make sure that everything is all sort of spick and span and that it's an easy viewing experience after the summit. So it'll take a little while, but we'll make sure to try to get those out to you as soon as we can. And we'd also like to make an announcement that after the summit here, we're looking to we're looking for more officers for SGDA, and so we're looking for obviously new officers for stuff like summit 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 committee sort of officers who help to make SGA's summit possible. But we're also looking for general officers as well. So if you're interested in sort of helping out for stuff like the summit, for helping out in terms of events, for networking events, or anything in regards to helping to better network different game development organizations across different colleges and universities, definitely apply. I think it's one of a kind of one of a kind of experience and sort of help give back to the community who has given us so much in return. Yeah, and so without further ado, I think I'll announce a few future events that we have in mind. But we also, generally speaking, we want to make sure that y'all should keep an eye out in terms of Discord announcements on our SGDA main server, which I think we should have in our link tree and our website. That will be announcing future SGDA events. One possible event in the future, we're planning to do this summer game jam for SGDA, so that's something that y'all might be interested in. And as we unfortunately also sort of noted here, the portfolio resume review, which we unfortunately couldn't sync together with the summit this year, we're looking to do a portfolio resume review in the future, in the near future, so that it isn't basically until the next summit. Cool. Any sort of closing thoughts from our officers here before we leave today?
Have a good summer, y'all. Have a good rest of your year.
Yeah, and thank you guys for submitting. If you just watched or submitted games or submitted to the art showcase or were a speaker, thank you so much for watching the stream. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. And without further ado, we'll wish you all a good night, and we'll see you next summit.
See
Bye.
y'all later.
Thank you.